We're Arctic Monkeys. This is Don't Believe the Hype.
That rock and roll, eh? Ladies! That sound means it's the end of the round. Time for the bonus question. Cheers, dude.
That man just yawned.
We're gonna call it
Don't Believe the Hype.
Hello, yes, this is indeed Don't Believe the Hype, the premium purveyors of weekly Arctic Monkeys related content as we go through the band's discography week by week, track by track, era by era, and focus on a track for each episode with me, Nick Lee, and he fits the podcast like Sunday's frozen pitch fits the thermos flask. It is Mr. Dan Holt. Hello.
Hello, that was nice. That's very nice.
Just a nice kind of guy.
That is going to be a good.
Nice.
That lyric is going to be a good B-side episode to this era as well. All the B-sides to this era are probably going to be great episodes, but that one in particular is one of my faves.
Yes, that and Bakery for me are the two I'm very excited for.
Yeah. Although I'm very excited for most of them, I'd say. I think if you found this, it's probably too late. Is the only one that's a bit like, yeah, right. But the rest, I'd say they're all. What if you were right first time? Tune. In fact, I think we've already decided that occasionally, when we've had to double up, like when we doubled up a couple, sticking to the floor and 7, I think if you found this, you're probably too late. And Temptation are probably a case of the double up, aren't they? So prepare yourself for that, people. But anyway,
I don't know about Temptation because Temptation we've got two
full
versions
episode.
of it.
Yeah, but how we're not going to stretch more than about 15 minutes out of if you found this, it's probably too late, are we? Let's be honest, it's 1 minute 20. So
yeah, that might be a double bill.
And then whatever. But then, what if you're right first time is a very interesting episode, is what I'll say.
Yes,
be good. Yeah, very good one. But yeah, anyway, we're jumping miles ahead.
We are 2 tracks into Favourite Worst Nightmare now. We did Brainstorm last week. If you enjoyed the Brainstorm episode, if you enjoyed any other episodes, don't forget to like, follow, share, rate, subscribe. Tell someone about it. Just sidle up to a stranger on the bus, sniff their hair, stick a moist finger in their ear, and just say, "Hey, there's a podcast you might like." And fair enough. And that's what I do. That's how I promote my endeavours.
Speaking of, well, I've heard. Speaking of miles ahead, I just remembered that this is the series where we get to introduce Mr. Miles Kane properly to the band. We touched on him on Put Your Dukes Up John in series 1.5, but he's officially going to be introduced in this season, so we'll save it for then. But just got excited then from it.
For some of our dear subscribers, they've already been introduced to Mr. Miles Kane. So get on that, people. Last Shadow Puppets episodes are stacking up, as well as birthday specials, bonus episodes, all sorts of stuff, and extended video and audio versions of the normal show as well, a week early.
And can we? You know what? I'm going to posit a question to our listeners now as well, and whether anyone wants to or not. It's like the socials you just said, email us. Anyone that's a fan of us that isn't a subscriber currently, we wanted to put to you, if possible, if we were to say, put all of our features. Because we currently have 2 tiers, don't we? One where you get all the features for £3 a month, and then one for £5 a month where you also get the Last Shadow Puppets episodes. If we were to put the Last Shadow Puppet episode and all of it under one tier for £3 a month, would that tickle you a little bit more? Would that get you interested? Or if not, what would get you interested? What cost point would get you interested? Is it?
We're easy.
We're easy. We're open to change. Much like we made a big decision this week, didn't we? Because everyone last week will have noticed that despite us saying that the musical clips that have now been introduced to the podcast are going to be for subscribers only, we went, this is too good now. We really like this. This is too good we want to enhance the actual pod for our fans. So we took it away from a subscriber only and made it just the norm now, didn't we? We braved the copyright.
It'll be fine.
Police.
Fine.
It will be fine.
There's loads of podcasts I listen to that play like whole songs at the end and stuff like that, so it's fine.
It's a grey area, isn't it? Podcasting. It's much like sort of online watch-alongs and stuff. People seem to just get away with shit, don't they? So I don't know. It's a weird.
It's a grey area, like online watch-alongs and Twitch and sex trafficking. It's just international waters. What are the rules? What do I do?
Well, that's why I moved out of Stockport, people. Some people still living in the past.
Never legal. Anyway, what we've alluded to it, but what
I know they weren't.
What are we going to be chatting about tonight?
That went downhill quickly. We're going to be chatting about a classic, a hit, maybe
Yeah.
one of the biggest hits so
A
far.
hit single, certainly in
hit
my top
single.
100 list.
A hit hot single. Oh, Teddy Picker. Probably like one of the catchiest songs that they had done up to now. In fact, I'm going to put it out there, the catchiest song that they'd done up to this point. And they've had some catchy riffs, but this was the catchiest. And this is a song that transcends fans. This is just one of those. There's some Arctic Monkey songs that people know that aren't even fans. They just know. And this is one of them, I'd say. This dance floor. The first series we had dance floor, When the Sun Goes Down, fall into that bracket, I'd say.
Mardy Bum, I'd say, as well.
Mardy Bum, sorry. Apologies to Mardy Bum. Yep, correct. And then this, because Brian Storm as well, but this as well. Brian Storm?
I'd say Fluorescent Adolescent off this album as well.
Very much so. Yeah, and 505 became a...
505 as well, recently.
Yeah, but more on those in the future. But speaking of Miles again, but the this is the catchiest song they've done, I'm saying, and it's a hit. It's the biggest pop hit we've done. I don't know, it seems scary to say that, but
no, because Dance Floor got to number 1, didn't it?
Oh yeah, of course.
So technically,
yeah. Well, we're talking about of course, Dance Floor is still the most famous song.
We can find out for ourselves. Should we have a listen?
Yeah, go on. Why not?
It seems like the logical next step, doesn't it? Let's do it.
Listening to it won't tell us whether it was a bigger hit than Dance Floor. I think you're right. Dance Floor is a bigger hit because that's a song you have to gauge it on what song gets trotted out by people the most, and Dance Floor's unfortunately the one. Not unfortunately,
do you not get that
feeling.
Do you not get that
healing
when you watch like a live version of a song?
Sexual healing.
Oh, I thought you were going Backstreet Boys. I thought you were going, I'm a sexual. Yeah. It's funny if he said no, wasn't it? I'm a sexual. No, you are not. You're singing to children.
I always think of I Want to Be Yours to be a Backstreet Boys-esque song. But again, more on that in years to come.
Keep their stinking dead hands off it. Oh,
I love...
dead, are they? It's his brother who died.
Yeah, his brother died, yeah. I like Backstreet Boys. I was contemplating.
You went very solemn there for a minute.
Well, I didn't want us to be too crass too quickly. So you've done too crass too quickly.
You've gone too crass too quick. Right, sick of this. Let's play Teddy Picker. This one's called Teddy Picker. Get down. That was Teddy Picker from Glastonbury 2007, where it was sandwiched in between From the Ritz to the Rubble and This House is a Circus. And for those who are a bit miffed that I've cut off half a solo here, don't worry, we'll be coming back to that later.
Yeah. That's a great clip, that. Lovely. It's just like, it's one of them, it is proper catchy and it's fast, but it doesn't feel too, maybe because it follows Brian Storm, which is really fast. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's like all out energy when they're playing it. It's like a chilled fast, isn't it? It's like a sort of groovy one. But yeah, it's one of them. It's, you know what it is? It's one of those underappreciated ones as a fan, I'd say, where I don't appreciate it enough as a song because I don't know, maybe it's because it's a hit moneymaker and you kind of reject.
And also, I suppose I suppose that you almost take it for granted because they played it pretty much I imagine pretty much every gig. It's been a staple, hasn't it? I don't think did it go
No,
away?
it's been gone for a
It's
while.
gone away for a bit.
It went away for a while.
Recently,
Now it's
hasn't it?
back. No, it's come back
Yeah.
recently. It was gone for all of Tranquility, wasn't it?
Tranquility, it went, yeah, because they played it at Glastonbury 2013, didn't they? It was on the AM tour, and then
Yeah, it went for Tranquility. So it's back now. It's been 10 years though. That.
yeah,
They talked.
don't remind me. I had hope then. I had hope, mate, back then. And that was on. Oh,
Was that the prostitute's
oh.
name? Anyway, let's.
That's not to give them names, mate.
Well, she was called Hope.
Makes it feel too personal.
Worst name for, wouldn't it? Hope. Like the stripper Hope. Ooh.
It's like they always have names like Chastity and Charity and stuff like that, don't they? Like,
yeah, so do all the Dingle. Any Emmerdale Farm Dingle name is also the good name for a stripper, basically. Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah, exactly that. Right, let's get on to
let's find out how many times you played it live. Let's do it.
Yeah. I hope there's someone's going to come along who knows. Let's have a look in the feature we call the Information Action Ratio with its brand spanking. How long can we call this a brand spanking new jingle for? I think when we get to like
first adolescent. I was going to say first adolescent. There you go. That's the point. Turns out we'll milk shit for 5 episodes, but that's our limit.
Let's do the jingle.
The Information Action Ratio. Ain't that the place to go?
I don't know how long it's going to take me before I get over the go.
No, I know. Put his finger in it. It's mad to go from that Teddy Picker clip there to that.
Yeah, it's so mad when you see clips of them doing like listening to them before doing like. I mean, just FIFA in the afternoon is still pretty samey. I suppose you can't really change that too much, but just doing some of them in the singy voice, I like it, but sometimes it feels like a bit like you go, oh yeah, if you forgot. Like Teddy Picker, for example, sounds a bit different now. But anyway,
Five does as well at times as well.
Well, Five has very he's doing it more singy, isn't it? Like how it would have been if they'd written it now, I suppose. But yeah, speaking of Teddy Picker was released on the 3rd of December 2007 as the 3rd single from Favourite Worst Nightmare. 3rd single. It is 2 minutes and 45 seconds long and has 171.3 million streams on Spotify. It was produced by the same team as last week. 171. So it's just a little bit less than Brian Storm, but up there still. It is 150 beats per minute and is in the key of A.
Wrong key though.
Other key tracks in A are extremely relevant to the band and this week's episode. It's Duran Duran with Rio. No, it's not Rob McElhenney in a wig. Seriously, you won't unsee it. Now I've said that. It's creepy shagging a girl the same age as his daughter, Billy Ray Cyrus, with Achy Breaky Heart. And everyone's favourite bald pop star, No Moby, sit down. It certainly isn't you. It's Britney Spears, of course, with I Love Rock and Roll. I bet you don't. It has been.
Sorry, I'm just googling Billy Ray Cyrus. And
if you look at the movie, it looks like him, doesn't it? With long hair, I can't unsee it now. Like the most recent picture, it looks just like him with.
There's one here where he looks like Kevin Parker from Tame Impala as well. I don't know what to think now. Carry on. I feel sick.
It's this one that I can't show it you, obviously.
So I'm assuming the Billy Ray Cyrus song. Sorry, because I was too busy looking at the picture. Was it Achy Breaky Heart?
It was Achy Breaky Heart.
You know when radio stations will say like, after the break we've got a classic coming up from Toto. And you're like, well, it's Africa then.
Yeah,
it's going to be. Don't tease it by saying there's a classic coming up from Toto, and then it's going to be Africa.
It was absolutely Achy Breaky Heart. Yeah.
After the break, we've got a classic coming up from the Rembrandts. So what?
The B-side. It has been played live 416 times. Firstly, on February 17th, 2007 at the Dome Morecambe. And lastly, at time of recording, it was last played on May 3rd, 2023 at the Oberhausen Rudolph. I'm going to say it's Weber Arena. Weber. I think because it's German. Weber. Yeah.
Das Weber Arena.
We did enough German stuff last week, so I'm not gonna. But I'm gonna go out on a limb again because, as I said, this is going out on the 31st of May, but we're recording it now on May 4th, so we've only got the May 3rd gig to go off. I'm gonna say due to recent form of this song in the set, it is going to continue to be played every night of this European tour and will last be played live on the 10th of May at the Accor Arena, Paris, which will actually mean it has been played live 422 times altogether at date of airing. So I'm covering all bases again, but I could be wrong with that one. They might suddenly might drop it. Like Brainstorm's easier to guess because that ain't going anywhere, but this one could get dropped. So we'll see. But I doubt it. They have played it solidly in every set. They haven't changed it. So it seems like it's back as a staple. Much like last week, Teddy Picker has found its way into the Urban Dictionary. The definition is made popular by Sheffield band the Arctic Monkeys. A teddy picker is a machine found at carnivals and fun fairs where one moves a robotic arm to pick up toys, or in this case, a teddy bear. An example of this used in a sentence would be Arctic Monkeys, let's have a game on the teddy picker. Random dumbass, huh? There you go.
It was already a thing. It was already called a teddy picker before.
I never heard anyone call it a teddy picker before this song.
You know,
never in my life, and it didn't have a name. It was just go on that. Go on. Do you want to go on the grabber?
Do
you say,
do you want to go and get rid of some money and not get it back?
When I was a kid, it'd just be like, do you want to go on the grab one? Do you want to get a toy? The grabber or something like that. That's what people say. I don't remember anyone ever say. This is something I was going to ask you in the conversation a bit in the lyrics bit was. Did anyone? So maybe we'll ruminate on it.
It's very rare that I've certainly heard it, but it's not like it's the main. Yeah, it'd be a claw machine or the thing like you said.
Yeah, the claw. Yeah, because if Toy Story made it, the claw, didn't they? So since '94 at least, it's been the claw. So I think they did invent the term teddy picker. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, good on them.
Or maybe that's what people in Sheffield call it. I don't know, but. Anyway, they definitely popularized it. Everyone refers to it as that. That's become like the thing it is now, which is pretty impressive from a pop culture sense to actually name something that sticks. So this is a little interesting thing. We're going to go all the way over to Australia now, Nick, onto a website called onehour.out.com to talk about a restaurant called Teddy Picker. Teddy Picker launched The Garden in collaboration with Riot Wine. Downtown Werribee might not have been the first place that comes to mind when thinking of a lazy Sunday afternoon hangout, but one look at Teddy Picker's new outdoor space, The Garden, and you'll understand. Seated on the expansive deck under vibrant umbrellas, painted picnic tables, and fun fake grass, it's easy to picture yourself a world away from everything. In late 2021, Teddy Picker's owner, John Ford, was looking to expand the young venue to truly take advantage of the riverside location. In a case of perfect timing, Riot Wine Company from South Australia were also looking for a collaboration partner. Now, what's interesting about this is I thought, is this all a coincidence? But then, is it a quinky dink? But then, if you're wondering about the name, it's a nod to John Ford's UK roots, the birthplace of the band's Arctic Monkeys, who just happened to have a song of the same name, Mystery Solved. So he's from Sheffield, and he decided to call the restaurant Teddy Picker because he's a fan of the band.
I thought you were going to say he's James Ford's brother.
That's what I thought it was heading when I was reading
I was holding on for them.
Yeah, but I don't think that he's from Sheffield, so that kind of made me think. I didn't bother looking up whether he is because I thought, well, he's not from Sheffield, is he, James Ford? So I don't think.
Should we have a bonus round where we guess where James Ford's? I'll tell you what. I'll get on Wikipedia now. You tell me where you think James Ford's from. I'm gonna hazard a guess.
I reckon he's from. I'm gonna say he's from like Staffordshire League, something like that.
Fuck off! You just fuck off.
I'd already searched it before you said it.
Why'd you have to ruin everything?
Because I'd already searched it before you said it. All right, don't take your anger out on Ross on me. Again,
it was rough.
Your ex co-host. Yeah, he's from Leek. So yeah, that's about. I was
not too far from here.
I was gonna say like Devon because I was thinking he was from this middle class like town village, and it turns out I was pretty much right with that. Yeah. So yeah. But yeah,
it's about 45 minutes away from us.
Yeah, pretty close, isn't it? Pretty close, but we'll probably do some kind of James Ford information soon when there's a less information episode on this. So look out for that. So I'd be surprised if the guy from Sheffield is his relative, and I think that probably would have come up in the interview. So this song is much more interesting than just he's from Sheffield and called the restaurant that because he's a fan, isn't it? If he's actually related, the brother of the producer, that main collaborator of the band. The song entered the UK singles chart at number 20, so way down from where we've seen before.
Slipping.
The finish. Slippin' Jimmy. Yeah, they've done this band. They're not going anywhere. Maybe they'll make it in America. The French singles chart, they got at number 99, number 32 in the Irish chart, number 35 in the Italian chart, number 98 in the Netherlands chart, number 1 in the indie chart in the UK, and number 20. So it's got me thinking though, because we said, is it a hit? It feels like it's a big hit, and everyone does know it. You ask anyone, and they'll know Teddy Picker's Arctic Monkeys, and the fans love it, and it's always a festival song. So you got to ask yourself: is this just the time when people stopped buying and listening like to indie music as much, and other music had started to creep in? Because I don't even think, as big as AM was, it really made much of a dent in the chart. I could be wrong when we get there, but I just think this was around the time of the death, because this is a big song that got a lot of airplay and everyone knows, but still didn't even get anywhere near the top 10.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? It'd be interesting to see what was in the chart that week. Maybe it was one of them weeks where there was some like proper big blockbuster tunes, that stayed at the top of the.
Maybe.
Was this around the time of like Umbrella by Rihanna? No, that was a bit later, I think.
But there was a lot of tunes around then, but
should
we do it?
It's very strange because the chart position's kind of.
Well, even stranger because well, let's do ghost cookies and then continue this conversation.
You could say they're selling like ghost cookies.
So what do you think? So this is actually sales for that 20th place.
225,000.
No, it went gold, 400,000, and that wasn't enough to get them higher than 20. That's madness, isn't it? Yeah, Brainstorm was only 600, and that got them to like 4th. I don't know how it works. It's very odd. I guess it's just maybe some people sold like 410,000, so they automatically get high. Maybe it's just very close. I don't know. Weird one. Very odd.
So what date did it? I'm just trying to look at what date.
December 3rd. December 3rd.
It was the
2007.
release. So. You just crack on what you're doing, and I'm going to find some information.
Well, play me the review jingle then.
Review jingle? You want the review jingle? That's the new jingle as well, isn't it?
The new review jingle, yeah. Very much
It's still a new jingle for another few weeks. Let's do it.
Lovely bit of Helders there as well. So for the first review, before you carry on your research, Nick, the first review that I found here was a bit of a surprise finding, because it's a review from the Daily Star. For our international listeners, do you want to describe the Daily Star? So it's a newspaper here in the UK.
If you like tits and dislike actual news, this is the paper for you.
But it's not. That makes it sound like an FHM nuts. It's not even that. It's trying to be.
No, you get some good articles in them.
Yeah, it's trying to be. It's trying to be. Yeah, just read Playboy for the articles. It's just the news. It's trying to be an actual newspaper, but it's got the most. It's got stories such as like my mum's husband shagged the dog and had 6 kids. It's like, what I mean?
There. You're thinking of the Daily Sport.
Oh, sorry, I am. Yeah, but they're very much in the same vein, though, right? Is the Daily Star slightly more right wing?
Daily Star pretends to be a newspaper.
Sorry, yes,
Daily Sport is not at any point putting actual news in there. Yeah, it's just one rung down.
So Daily Star review. Perhaps this political leaning, a few choice words in this review might reveal. Is it owned by Murdoch? Probably. Don't want to get political. Is it not? Okay, some of it come then. The rambunctious guitar intro sounds like an old Madness tune until a killer does it really? Until a killer bass line. I mean, I don't know what killer bass line he's particularly talking about.
I mean, the bass line is the same as the guitar.
Yeah, and Alex Turner's arch lyrics about wannabes, posers, and thicko scallies. I mean, they were good until the. Yeah, I feel like you're just trying to get that in there. In pursuit of instant gratification, kick in. Searing guitars and thunderous drums all add to the eardrum blasting, groin shaking appeal too. I mean, that's right, but I don't think groin shaking appeal is a bit. Yeah, very strange review. Very strange review. I mean, I don't know who the musical.
It's almost like
journalist correspondent. Yeah, like who goes, well, I need a review to. What's on at the theatre this week? Should we get the Daily Star and have a look? What's on Broadway this week?
Shows.
Oh, fancy a bit of opera tonight. What's the Daily Star say?
What does Lucy 22 on page 3 think?
Yeah.
Lucy thinks David Cameron's new tax reforms will lead to chaos. No, she doesn't.
Lucy would
She
love
thinks
to sit
all my
down and
nipples are a bit cold.
Lucy would like to sit down and listen to Arctic Monkeys with David Cameron while discussing the EU reform bill.
No, we want to go to Legoland.
So go on, before I do the next review, hit us with your
What I
rhythm
have found
charts.
some very interesting stuff in this.
Really?
So,
Is it very interesting Daily Star level or very interesting
no,
generally?
it's very interesting, as in it might go some way to letting us know why it charted so low comparatively.
Okay.
So this was the chart from December the 9th, 2007. Now, obviously, we've got Christmas tunes making their way into the chart. So above them, Teddy Picker charted at number 21, at number 20. Charting at number 21 this week was "We'll Live and Die in These Towns" by The Enemy.
Well, at least they got
We
a
had
bit higher than
Rockstar by Nickelback was just below them. But in the top 20, we've got Fairy Tale of New York, we've got Mariah Carey, we've got Valerie by Amy Winehouse, we've got Rule the World by Take That, and number 1 is Bleeding Love by Leona Lewis. So there's your answer.
Okay, yeah.
That was number 1 for about 3 months. So
X Factor had destroyed music at this point. Great, okay.
Yeah.
And Christmas
songs all the way.
Combination of Christmas and X Factor ruins the chance of this song. Yeah. Okay, well that's good to know. Because Brainstorm wasn't that. I mean, yeah, because there was. First, let's see what Fluorescent Adolescent does in the charts when we get to that, because that's bang in the middle of Brainstorm at number 4. So yeah. So another review. Digital Spy said the Arctic Monkeys have got too much Yorkshire curmudgeonness to ever truly become the biggest band in the world. Well, it doesn't matter how many. It doesn't matter how. It doesn't matter how many. It doesn't matter how many times we're told that they are the bestest thing since ever. If they don't really fancy becoming stadium shredding legends themselves, au contraire. Favorite Worst Nightmare was a rollicking good album, if a little way off being a stone cold classic that aspired to nothing more than being a fairly decent indie record. There were no Wonderwall or Yellow moments which would have sent them spiraling into the world of Dido-side sale figures and endless trips across the Atlantic to try to crack America. I would argue that Fluorescent Adolescent, Teddy Picker, although the charts wouldn't suggest it, but let's say Fluorescent 5 or 5 certainly is Wonderwall status. Not status, because Wonderwall's one of the songs ever, but you don't get 1 billion plays on a track for now, do you? Instead, we were given 12 sturdy workman-like tracks, of which their new single Teddy Picker was the standout. The intro bass line is so fat and juicy you could feast on it for weeks. Again, about this bass line in the start. I mean, we'll talk about this in a minute. The jarring guitar lines are truly sumptuous, and for once, Matt Helders decides to not take a battering. Oh, this really wound me up this afternoon.
I can see your face change then.
Anyone that has listened to the show for a while knows my love. Well, we all love Helders. Well, we all love Helders all over this land.
That's a deep cut of a reference,
isn't it? It really
have that, butter fans.
Irish butter fans, salt lovers, sodium carbonate. Okay, I got to try and get through it right. For once, Matt Helders decides to not take a battering ram to his drum kit and shows that his skills aren't limited to walloping his kit into a pulp. Just leave that hanging. Fucking
rancid fart that it is.
Twat. Turner's lyrics are the usual collage of colloquialisms with some added Duran Duran references and a bit of throwaway smut to add to the fun. The result is a slicker than your average rock belter that should keep the hype machine rollicking onto album number 3. Mixed bag there, but I mean, slanging off Helders. I mean, one of the most respected drummers in the industry, so let's not. An Enemy, proven right over time. An Enemy placed this at number 33 in their list of the greatest Arctic Monkeys songs. I expected it to be higher, but I guess there's so many great songs. Something's got to give. Brainstorm was like 15. So I think Live for Lies Come On was like high. But they say, and Teddy Picker, by this point, singing about fame and all its spoils was nothing new for the band. The titular song of 2006's Who the Fuck Are Arctic Monkeys EP bled this arc dry. But this ferocious tirade against the too much, too quick mentality of the music industry is razor sharp and relentless. Don't concern us with your bollocks, they scoff. Right on. We'll get to it with the lyrics, but again, much like we said with, I think it was with Who the Fuck Are Arctic Monkeys? No, with Vampires. I don't think this that is necessarily the music industry that they're talking about solely. at all by any stretch of the imagination. No.
No.
But we will get to that with the lyrics soon. So this one then, how you liking this? You like this one?
I've had it on all day today, and it's
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a good one to go back to, isn't it? I love the sound of the drums in the opening to this. Like I know I always say about Helders, but there's something about that. I don't mean like what he's doing. I mean the specific, to go like producery. The sound of the drums, like they're just crisp. They just sound perfect when they come in. Like when you listen to them with a good pair of headphones on, it's like a proper great sound. So viscerally pleasing, I'd say, is that, or like sort of ASMR or something like that. Like so.
Yeah.
So, doff my cap to Mr. Ford and Mr. Crossy there. I do love his very hip hop beat though throughout. This is probably like pretty strong hip hop Helders, this, isn't it?
I almost see this as a union piece to Fake Tales musically. It's that style of riff again. That we pinpointed in the first series.
Yep.
That's the riff with the single notes and stuff that we're gonna get with Don't Sit Down because Leave Your Chair. We're gonna get it with 4 out of 5 as well, and it all the way through. And this is very similar to that, I think. Again,
I've got in my notes.
Bass line matching the guitar as well. Again,
I got in my notes. The guitar riff is very much Fake Tales' funkier sister.
Yes, exactly that.
Yeah,
exactly that.
But yeah, you could. But I do. Yeah, but to go back to the drumming for a sec, I do think hip hop wise, like when you listen to them, you could drop like a hip hop beat, a hip hop song over these drums very easily. I reckon this is one of his, and same could be said for the next track. I'd say in this series, but I whereas last week there was hip hop elements, but it was a lot of rock. There's like a rock song as well, but this one is pure hip hop. But I do love the change up of his drums at the very end, though, with the introduction of the cymbals. He just kind of does it a bit different, doesn't he? When you listen on the instrumental, again, these instrumental versions are great, and that's why we'll be clipping them up and putting them in. But like, you can really hear stuff that you don't normally notice when Alex is singing over it. So it's always great. Very nice. The way he transitions the beats as well in between tracks is very Helders. It's the Matt Helders. What did we say last week? We had the Jamie Cook, the Cookie. What did
Shimmering was the word I would use to describe Cookies.
Yeah, we said it was like the Cookies trademark. Yeah, the Cookie Monster trademark, Shimmering. Helders is like his trademark is hip hop, but the transitions. I noticed unlike other drummers, when you listen and compare, he's talked before about being original, but he throws extra drums in there that most drummers wouldn't. So instead of just being happy with that beat, he'll suddenly just be like, it could be like, and then he'll just go, just throw something in that you wouldn't like normally hear. So very good.
I would really love to know what Helders.
Good that he's not hitting them like a battering ram as well this time.
Yeah. Sorry, reviews. I'd really love to know what Helders like played along to when he was learning. I imagine it was like rap and hip, like Roots Maneuver and stuff like that as well. But based on what we're seeing with those little flourishes and stuff, it must be. That must be. Because I don't think he's ever said like what he actually listened to learn. What he actually played along with. But
I think they learned.
I know said what they're into.
But yeah, I imagine you're right though. I think to learn, he must have started learning a lot of hip hop beats because that's like ingrained in him, isn't it? So, yeah, I would imagine so. I imagine he took to the hip hop beats, and then when they started messing around together, he was doing hip hop beats to their stuff. That's why it's like you don't hear stuff like that normally, because he already had that ingrained in him to do that.
I always imagine they'd be big fans of Bad Boy for Life by Puff Daddy, P Diddy, Papa Diddy Pops, whatever he's calling himself nowadays. Because that's almost got that Arctic Monkeys
friend of the band.
Well.
Friend of the
band, yeah, indeed, yeah. They're his boys.
Yeah, there's a lot. Well, you could argue, a lot of the beats like this, even drums, even the guitar are doing a hip hop esque. We had that hip hop group in LA that used Fake Tales as a sample, if you remember.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
back in the day. So
that was really cool.
So yeah, I would imagine I'd imagine that there's a lot of that going on. But yeah, the guitar though. So yeah, you said about it being pretty funky. But so what's this about a bass? Are people think? Are we wrong? Is the opening is a bass? We've seen it in the video that it's not. It doesn't open with the bass. People like that intro bass is sexy. It's like, well, the intro guitar is sexy, and the bass under
The
it doing
bass
the
is
same
playing
thing.
under
is
it, playing the
sexy.
same thing. Yeah.
Are people assuming that opening down is the bass like in these reviews?
These are probably the same people who think Seven Nation Army is on the bass as well.
Is it not? No, I'm joking.
Idiots, damn, they're idiots.
Yeah, I just don't. In no way. Like I know last week we were talking about how the bass sounded like the guitar, but we still knew which bits were the bass that sounded like a guitar.
Yeah.
It wasn't like we were fooled by it.
Because we've got ears down.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great bass riff, but it's just what the guitar's doing, and we know that it starts with the guitar because we've seen them play it live on the music video. So, yeah, very odd. I mean, the bass is like, but I don't know how you could hear it and go, yeah, that bass like, wow, what a cool bass line, and go, yeah, what's the guitar doing? Yeah, weird thing to say.
It's like hearing like Rock and Roll by Led Zeppelin or Black Dog or something, and just going, "That's a great bass line." No, it's like,
unless they have the information, some information that we don't. That is the well, let's just. I'm playing devil's advocate.
Let's indulge them for a minute.
Maybe it was well reported at the time that Nick came up with this riff, and it started as a bass riff that then the guitar adopted. That's why they're giving the Jews. Possibly. I didn't find any info on that after 10 pages of Google searches, but but yeah, I mean, I imagine it sounds like a riff that Alex would come up with, to be honest. But who knows? I mean, it's pretty much in the same on the guitar, because I know how to play Fake Tales and I know how to play this, and they're pretty much in the exact same place on the guitar, which is like the 5th fret down on the E chord and the A chord. So yeah, it's pretty much the same. I feel like they were mucking around with Fake Tales and came up with it. It's very similar. It's in a very similar place, suspiciously so. It's using a lot of the same notes. Yeah. So yeah, I do sometimes think that's it. But yeah, the guitar strums for the chorus again gave me vibes of Last Night by the Strokes, or at least a bit Strokesy in anyway. That kind of. Apologies. That kind of.
If only your mic had a mute button for when you need to cough.
Yeah, you know what? I should do that, shouldn't I? I just forget.
I do it all the time.
Oh, that was fun.
Thanks, mate.
I feel like a proper radio DJ, except they have the button. It'd be easier if the button was in front of me and I could just go like, dude. But yeah. Also, I do. I mean, I've recorded 2 pods this week, and at the weekend I was severely ill, like death's door. I thought at one point in the middle of the night I was going help in bed.
Why is this the
I think
first
he was like,
time
"What you
I've
do?"
heard
No, I just got I think I must have picked something up when we were out in Manchester last week because I woke up in the night. I was shivering, even though apparently it was quite warm. I was sweating.
I had a bit of that going on.
Yeah, and Vicky had come out of the bedroom onto the couch because my snoring was that loud. So I woke up and she wasn't there, and I was going help to myself in the middle of the night. I remember, and then I fell back asleep. But really pathetic. I mean, I'm not one of those people that milks in illness. I rarely ever get ill. But it was quite bad, and it was because all my sinuses were full, and I had this headache. Also, I've been suffering this week from so I have a kind of blocked sinus, which is putting pressure on my ears. So I keep going dizzy and nearly falling over because your inner ear controls your balance. It's quite yeah. So, but through that, what I'm saying is, I've podcasted through it all, is what I'm saying. But so basically, all that was me saying, don't be snarky about my cough.
I wasn't being.
You remind me of this. You remind me of this guy
fact
called
that-
Rush. You sometimes from the Stop Carty podcast that I listen to. Just press the.
I mean, you don't need to use the mute button all the time now. It's just, I mean,
I'm gonna. No,
no,
you said it
no,
now. No, you want me to use it? If you want me to use it, I'll use it.
use whatever you want, mate. Use me. Show me the jacuzzi.
Ooh. You're not getting a lyrical arm for that. It was recorded that pod
What do
2
you
days
mean?
ago.
You're not getting a lyrical arm like you're in charge of them. Like you've got the button.
Yeah, you wouldn't dare push it without my permission, though.
No, that's true. I'm scared of you.
I'll walk. It says in my contract.
You will walk, but you'll fall over as you're doing it.
Hey! And that bookends that part of the
Yeah.
weird,
And that's
weird.
nonsense.
Yeah.
Tangent
Also,
over.
to go back to the song, you mentioned again last week. We said we'd be on the lookout for those Jamie Cook flourishes, those Cookie Monster trademarks. Shimmering, you said. There's a little bit of that in the chorus, isn't there? The lead guitar in the chorus is definitely one.
Yeah.
Well, we'll play
Yeah.
it. But yeah. Yeah, it's yeah.
This is Cookie. This is what we know him for now, I think.
Yeah, and last week with Brian Stone, we had his little lead guitar over that, and then we got this one here. It's what he does, people. It's what he does.
What do you think is the peak of that Cookie trademark? Where do you think it reaches its highest
Cornerstone.
point? Thank you. Correct answer. Yeah, crack on.
Good. I mean, you could make. I mean, there's so much going on in Tranquility Base and stuff that there's probably one in there, but that's so layered. It's different. But I mean, I can't think of. No, yeah, it is. Cornerstone is the peak of that. I'd say the peak of this particular style, anyway. But Flourish is different now. He's got different trademarks as we go. The Jamie Cook trademark will change and evolve, much as they all will. But well, even to the point where he's just hitting one note on a piano every 5 seconds, going
and looking fully angry about it.
Yeah, looking pretty cool though as well at the same time.
Does look cool.
I love the way the chorus ends with the strumming. You know, that's very them, isn't it? To just like because it's like how would you? Because you got to transition into that riff again, and I can imagine it in the band, and you're like, how are we going to get back from that to that? And it's like we'll just go, and then Helders will do.
It's
one
almost
of his
like
transitions.
a nice little. The way it speeds up again, it's like almost like a whirlpool effect. You imagine like dancing to it or being in like the pit for the gig or something, which was very much early 2000s indie thing as well. It's something like Libertines and Baby Shambles did. I'd say the Strokes to maybe a lesser extent. It wasn't as prevalent with them, but yeah, it's very mid 2000s that
the Strokes used it at the start of songs sometimes, really. But it's a cool little bit of a change to the song, and it gives Helders the chance to transition them with one of his previously mentioned Helders trademark transitions. We got their 2 trademarks. We'll find trademarks for the others as we go, I suppose. Love the break before the second chorus, and again another Jamie Flourish there. Another Cookie Monster. But I mean, the solo. Oof! I love this solo.
It's a good solo.
It's not the solo I expect upon first listen. I imagine I expected, but it's also exactly the solo I expect. It's the one that I didn't, much as it always is about the Monkeys. It's the one I didn't know I wanted, but I truly wanted it. Yeah, it's a lovely like funky vibe with the vibe. It's got like the vibrator one or something like that, or an effect like that.
A lovely effect on it. Yeah,
beautifully clean as well, because you don't get a lot of clean solos. That's another thing that JB does quite a lot, actually, a clean solo. Soul funk vibes to it as a solo. You can imagine it like although I have to say this is Alex actually, so I'm putting it on Jamie, but Alex plays this, doesn't he, in the actual song? Alex
solo,
yeah. So it's got that it's got that kind of, you know, when you listen to a soul funk song from the 70s, that world, even some of the Bowie stuff on Young America, stuff like that. I don't know, there's something about it that reminds me of that kind of sound.
Yeah, I can hear that.
Yeah, but I do love it as a solo because it's just, for a song like this, you wouldn't expect there to even be a solo, because you'd expect them to just do a little breakdown of this. It's
fairly
riff.
Short as well.
You'd expect what I would expect most bands to do is after the second chorus, it would go to just like bass and drums a bit slower doing the riff. So it'd be like, and then they do something, and then they build it back up, and they would come back in with the riff. But they do a nice little. They keep the same pace going the whole way through the song, and then blast out that solo. Lovely. So on the bass, apparently everyone loves the bass. Maybe if he did bring it to the table, then maybe that's why. But we don't have that information. I feel like it's just a couple of shit reviewers thinking that intro is the bass with the drums, which is crazy, really.
It is.
I don't know. I'd say not up to anything special this week, particularly. A great riff if you came up with it, though, obviously, but just mimicking the guitar, keeping that funky rhythm along with the drums, doing its standard job. It does carry most of the second verse, though, like a guitar again. So actually, funnily enough, they say that about the intro, but in the second verse, Alex stops playing, and it is just the bass.
Yeah. That point is relevant to the second verse, not the intro.
Verse. But
maybe they should have listened to the song more than once before making it. It stinks of like them having like 5 minutes, and we've got like 5 minutes until submission time. It's like, we need this review of Teddy Picker. He's like, I want to listen to it one more. You've not got time to listen to it one more time. We need the review done.
I mean, just listen to this. Imagine that this is next week, D's for Dangerous, and a killer, and you imagine that thing about the bass coming in. The intro bass line is so fat and juicy you could feast on it for weeks. If they were reviewing D's for Dangerous with the drums and the bass line, I'd go, okay, that makes sense. That is a very drum bass line intro. But not this one by any stretch of the imagination. The fact that they don't really mention the drums up in that intro as well, and the drums, it's a cracking start to the song. So, yeah,
it's put me off the Daily Star. I'll tell you that.
Won't be wanking to that anymore. Although, yeah, it does very much carry the second verse, but then it is just that riff again. But it is a nice. I like it when bands do that when the second verse is. I mean, it's a staple thing to do, isn't it? You take out the guitar for the second verse, and then have it come back in. That's standard. Yeah, so this song, a very basic song musically, you could almost say, but it doesn't need to be more because it's catchy as fuck and funky, right? Like when you've got a riff that catchy and you've got Helders doing the drums, you don't need anything more. The only way they could do anything more with it is to do a really cool funky solo, and they did that. They put the cherry on the cake, so it doesn't need any more than it needs to be. It's perfect musically, like for what it is.
Great lyrics going along with it, so you want to let them breathe as well.
You don't need to reinvent the wheel with it. It's a great riff. It doesn't need to be all fancy. And keep up a good pace. I like that they don't slow it down like they do with some others, in the middle. Like say, Still Take You Home. Well, not Still Take You Home. That's a bad example. It's a bit like Still Take You Home, though, isn't it? With that funky solo that you don't expect in the middle. Isn't it? Yeah,
absolutely.
So yeah, they do that a lot, but they also do like Who the Fuck Are Arctic Monkeys or something like that, where they'll do that kind of change up. So I'm glad that they just keep it at a solid pace, solid track. But yeah, do you have anything else to say on the old muso?
I am musicked out.
Great. So should we move on to the lyrics then?
Let's
So I'm gonna just read something here, and then I think the way that we should potentially do this one, because there is a little bit more meat in the bones for this one, so I think we should I'm gonna read this little bit of Alex, and then we'll discuss the title a bit more, and then maybe I think we just go through it line by line like we have before, because it's got some great little lines in there to go through, and then obviously there's certain chunks where we'll be discussing other things along with it, but yeah. The lyrics, so this is an article here. It says the lyrics appear to be a dig at celebrity culture, which is more correct than just the music industry. It is very much so about celebrity, especially at that time. It's like
we mentioned X Factor
spot
before.
on. Yeah, anyone who lived through that time in the UK, particularly, recognizes a lot of this and exactly what it was like. And now things have changed differently, but we'll get into that. But
Christmas number one every year being the X Factor. Thank God we don't have that anymore. Thank God we've just got Thank God we've got some Tory with sausage rolls instead.
At least that goes to charity. There's that at least. Does it?
Well,
or does it? Oh yeah, very contentious point. Let's not get into it.
Yeah.
I don't fancy getting sued. But
wacky bastards.
Fucking, I'm determined to have a really strong hit comedy podcast, because if they've got one, I'll be livid. But in an interview on the XFM London radio station, home of Ricky Gervais, Carl Pilkington, and Steve Merchant,
Tim Pot,
frontman Alex Turner explained that the song wasn't just about celebrities. Instead, he said it was about several people the band had met and their weird ideas. So again, I mean, I never thought it wasn't about the music industry. I just think it's about all that world and stuff, because the music industry was also full of wannabes and posers and shit like that. So fake. So it's just everyone. But to think that it's just about the music industry is weird, considering you haven't understood a lot of the lyrics. But the Teddy Picker, like, we haven't really got a lot to his metaphors, but Teddy Picker is a great metaphor for a desperate person. So at this time, it felt like there was a lot of people that just wanted to be famous for nothing. You could argue that's still the case now a little bit, but I would argue I'd push it back a bit now because
they're restricted to ITV2 now.
No, but I mean, like with TikTok and YouTube, at least they have to create some
Yeah.
kind of good content to be noticed. Whether we find that funny or not is irrelevant because it's times have moved on and what people find funny. But at least you have to create some content and put some work into it rather than just trying to be famous for, being seen in a club with your fanny out at 3 a.m. or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, generally, yeah, it's about that kind of, so the Teddy metaphor is people just wanting that hand of fame to grab them and pull them out and do it, which is a great metaphor, isn't it? You credit of what a good metaphor that is, yeah. Whether he invented the word or not, it's perfect, yeah. I don't think he did invent it. I think he probably heard it before. But I think what they did was made now everyone call it that. That's where I'd say it seeped into the mainframe. But as a metaphor, yeah, perfect. Like, just as I think it's one of those first times with him where he did a metaphor like that, and I was like, oh wow, that's up another level there. To compare it to that is mwah, mwah. So the first line of the song is they've sped up to the point where they provoke the punchline before they have told the joke. It's one of them ones again where it's weird to say it because you want to be like, because you have to say they have told the joke rather than the punchline before they have told the joke.
In my head, I was like, dun, 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 while you were saying that.
I've always wondered if there's two levels to this one, because one is that, I think one is that they're so desperate to take the shortcut and find the easy way to find fame that they've forgot the talent part. So something that very much still exists a little bit perhaps today as well in some areas, but so that's kind of, I suppose, what it is supposed to be, isn't it? Is that they're so desperate to take that shortcut that they've forgotten the talent part. So they provoked the punchline before they told the joke. But I think as well, there's something about, because they kind of say, don't they, 5 minutes of fame for these people. You get this 5 minutes of fame. It's happened so quick that they've almost become the punchline before they've even had the chance to tell the joke, is what I've always looked at it as well as. Like the career's so fleeting that before they've had a chance to even do anything, they're a joke again. They're back on the, like the papers have turned on them. Because there was a lot of tabloid press in this country at the time as well that this kind of feeds into, where we're making people famous for 5 minutes and then throwing them in the dustbin of fame.
Well, that was
essentially,
point.
Yeah.
It's that disposable nature, isn't it? It's like it doesn't matter if we burn this person out because we've got a million others ready to just pick out with the claw, and we'll put them in front of the world.
So that's kind of that kind of disposable nature, of them, and they're so desperate for it that they kind of fall for it as well. There's a bit of sadness to it, isn't there? I think it's easy to mock them, like with this song and stuff, but I think there is an also sadness to it. But the next line is plenty of desperation to be seen staring at the television screen. I was just saying, this is like they just want to be famous that bad. Like they're so desperate. It's like staring at a television screen. Quite a simple line, is it? Do you think they're just that desperate to be famous? Yeah. I love that he repeats the previous line but adds fucking to it. Like that's just like, I don't know why, but it just works so well. It makes him sound so much angrier.
Yeah, it's a perfect example of when swearing is used right.
Yeah,
it can really add to stuff, and that's the perfect example there. I think as it is with all the times that he swears in a song. I don't think there's ever been one where he thought, "Oh, that's gratuitous."
Well, it can be an art form, isn't it?
Where you hear a rapper and he's just like,
too much. No, there is an art form to it. I heard someone moaning about on the Succession having too much swearing in it and that, but it's like the thick of it, isn't it? They have that Tony Roche guy, like the swearing comes around. There's an art to where you place the swear in to make it.
Yeah.
It's like I was saying about on the Arsenal documentary, Arteta used to come in the dressing room and suddenly saying "fuck" every 2 words. That doesn't make your words more impactful just by adding "fuck" in between them, but not swearing any other time. It doesn't add gravitas. Maybe it does because they're doing so well. Fuck him. But I think here it does add that kind of, makes it more impactful, a little bit cooler, if I'm being honest, viscerally, and it makes him sound like he's getting really wound up as the song progresses as well by them even more. Yeah. So next line. Well, sorry, sunshine, it doesn't exist. It wasn't in the top 100 lists. So this is a very UK specific phenomenon of the time. which there was a what's the word
Countdown shows.
Yeah, no, I just mean what's the word for when there's a trend. There was a trend for
Yeah.
for countdown shows mainly on Channel 4, Channel 5,
Channel 5 as well.
Sky
Yeah.
1 if you're really unlucky, you got nothing else to do. Yeah, because actually, so we got a clip. So basically, what they would do is, and I was going to say they get a load of like I think by the end they were getting a load of D-list celebrities on it, but in the beginning they were quite popular. On this clip here, there's some A-listers there, aren't there?
This
on this
one
music
we've got
one?
now. There's some proper like musical heroes of mine in this one.
Proper human. I think this one I found. I got it because it was a music one because we're doing a music pod. They always had the good people on because people care about 100 greatest albums voted for by fans, like this one is. But I think when it was like 100 greatest sitcoms, you'd get that's when the D-listers would come out, or best UK comedy moments. Like they're the real. It's always, as we said before, Rodney falling through the bar, Rodney Del falling through the bar. I wouldn't. Yeah, so they would basically be clips with a load of relevant-ish famous people talking in between, talking heads about them, and they'd have this very similar vibe to them, all of them. I remember them so well. Like, I'm actually tempted to crack them out on YouTube when I'm having a drink this weekend and just sit and watch some because it makes me feel really nostalgic in a way, even though they were shit and I think they're crap.
I sometimes do. That's my late night watching some of the time.
Maybe it's just me trying to capture being young again. I don't know, but there's something about them that makes me like I'd watch that with my mate and then he'd go home and I'd flick the Babe Station and have a wank. It's very nostalgic for me that time.
What a life.
Oh, to be 14 again. But yeah, should we play a clip of one of them to give people the general vibe of what they were about?
Absolutely.
So they were 99 of the 100 greatest albums ever made. There's just one question left on everybody's lips.
So what's the number one going to be?
Who I think will win it will be...
Gould.
I haven't got a clue. I really haven't.
I think the number one record will be, and I'm rather hoping it will be, ABBA's Arrival.
Oh, that's a hard question.
I'd like Alan to get in.
I'd like to think that's the number one.
Probably Busted or Girls Aloud.
Or a Wings album.
Queen is dead.
Something like Nirvana's Nevermind is going to be number one.
I don't know. Sgt. Pepper's.
The Doors.
Nevermind the Bollocks. Or the Sex Pistols.
I definitely think it should be one of the Beatles albums.
It could be Oasis.
I'd go for Pet Sounds.
Well, they're all wrong, but it finally is time to reveal the greatest album ever, as voted for by Channel 4 viewers. If that's okay with you.
It's one of those records I play over and over and over again.
Just quality. As simple as that. It was just pure quality.
It really sort of set a certain standard, I think. It's very innovative.
It really came roaring out of the speakers when you first put it on.
It is bold and ambitious, but then there's still beautiful, intimate moments.
First time I heard a record, I was in my dressing room, and I remember hearing the keyboard part. I heard it from the dressing room, from the stage was maybe, quarter of a mile away. And I remember all the musicians kind of looking at each other, and this is really interesting, this is good.
This real anxiety-ridden lead singer who just had this beautiful voice.
Well, points from there.
I love that song.
Yes,
it sends me to a happy place.
First heard it in the royal family, weirdly. That was where I first got into. That's how I was singing it to the baby.
No, you must have heard it growing up, like on.
Yeah, I knew it when the album came out and stuff because it was on.
Yeah.
I used even at like the age of like 10 or 11, I used to get like Q magazine and you have like the 3 CD with the stuff in, so I kind of knew it there. But then, yeah, right, a couple of things. The singer from the Thrills was on that. What happened to them? They had a great first album, The Thrills, and then it all went to shit.
Just indie. You can say that about 99% of indie bands from that time. So
yeah, I liked them. My second point, Paul Weller kind of gets the piss taken out of him now for looking like a nana. What the fuck is that jumper he's wearing? 20 years ago. I thought it was a recent thing. Oh, and also Noel Gallagher suggesting that Nevermind the Bollocks is the greatest album ever. It's not even the greatest punk album.
You know what? When I watched that, I thought, because I used to think, like, until the last maybe 5 or so, 10 years, that Noel was the all right one and Liam was a twat. And now, as we've said before, the roles are reversed. But watching that, I think, why did I ever think Noel was the all right one? He's clearly a prick. He looks like a prick there.
Although there was a thing on BBC4 about 10 years back called 7 Ages of Rock. And it basically charted like British rock from like the 50s going forward. And there's an episode where they're talking about the Libertines. And Noel Gallagher says, if Oasis were the sound of a council estate singing its heart out, the Libertines are the sound of someone who's been kicked down the rubbish chute and don't know what day it is, which I thought was spot on. And that's when I thought, oh, Noel's actually all right. And then everything he's done and said since then, I've just thought, well, I was wrong.
Although he probably meant it more in some disparaging way than.
No, he meant it nice because he's big mates with.
He is with
Carl.
Pete, isn't he? Yeah.
He was at the time. He's in that whole crew with Kate Moss and all that.
Carl, who's on that. Carl, who was on that.
Yes.
When I was watching it, I thought, you'll be happy because Carl Barrett's on it, Johnny Marr's on it. Pete was busy in a fucking crack den with a heroin needle hanging out of his arm. So he was. Yeah. Carl Barrett on it, Johnny Marr on it for you. Your hero from the host of Pointless, Alexander Armstrong, narrating it.
I thought that was him.
Well, I don't know, but it sounds like him.
I thought it was. Beck and Michael Stipe both on there. The most interesting thing that jumped out at me was that Mark Owen of Take That is a fan of Radiohead, and which is weird because he's the one member of Take That I like, because he's the lead singer.
He's harmless, isn't he? That's
Take That song. He's the lead singer on Shine. Leave him alone.
I hate that song because of Morrison's.
I can love it again now. I've got over it. It's fine.
No, I can't get over it. Plus, I don't like it. I think it's a shit song. But anyway, let's not get hung up on that.
The shit song, isn't it?
There's actually Take That songs that I much prefer. If I'm being generous. But I was thinking from a Radiohead perspective, because I sent that because it was music related, because it had quite a few good people on it, and it's actually a high quality standard of that. You lower the standard of those top 100 lists by the time this song was written, because that was 2005. This song's out in 2007. The quality had massively dropped in these top 100 lists. It was crap stuff. Top 100. It was like best reality TV moments, and then you really get the dregs coming out of like what's his name, like Jeff Brazier and that, and like,
we all know there's only one top reality TV moment, and I'm sure you'll agree with me.
Kinga with the champagne bottle up a fanny.
Yeah, where's Shut to? Shut to the label. It's David Bowie's widow in.
Oh yeah, but that wasn't. Oh, I thought you meant time wise. That hadn't happened yet, I don't think. But
no, but I mean ever. If they did that countdown now,
that was obviously 2016.
100 times.
Can't believe that was still on in 2016. Now that is the greatest moment of reality TV. But up to that, I think then it was Kinga with the champagne bottle up a fanny was probably like the most or George Galloway pretend to be a cat.
Jay Goody giving a blowjob.
Jay Goody being a racist. Being a racist, right? Yeah. Ooh, yeah. What was that? What was it? I'm not even going to repeat what she said. It's disgusting. But anyway, I know from Escom 7.
Let's not.
I know why she's allowed to come back. No, Escom 7 step.
Well, she's not now. That's from 7.
Carrying on in memoriam. Can we carry this gig without him? Probably. Torbos will be like. So when we're going through, really cruel. So that clip, that's kind of a good vibe of what they were, but they were much worse than that. But I didn't want to pick a really shit one because I thought, well, let's keep it music context. And Radiohead are probably my second favorite band after Arctic Monkeys, or third. Not artist, band after Arctic Monkeys. Make that clarify that. Yeah, I really became last year. I became a huge Radiohead fan. My girlfriend's a massive Radiohead fan, and when I sent her that clip last night, I heard her through the bedroom wall shout, "Wow, Slash is a Radiohead fan." So that was someone
and quick point on Slash, actually, because obviously with the Glastonbury, when the Glastonbury lineup was announced, and a lot of people complained that it was just a load of white guys again headlining. Hello, Slash. Has everyone just forgotten that Slash is mixed race all of a sudden?
Apparently so, yeah. I mean, you can't account for scheduling, can you? To be fair on them, I don't think they were turning anyone down. I don't think Taylor Swift was going, "I'll do it," and they were going, "Nah."
Yeah.
No, we want 3 white males because that'll be good in the current climate.
She's too busy getting AIDS off Matt Healy, I'd imagine.
God.
And all sorts of diseases. She's dead to me.
Yeah, Auf Wiedersehen, Pet. I think this is a good. It's a deep cut of an insult, isn't it? It's yeah. I think that it was a true like satire. I'm gonna say that this song's a satirization of the celebrity culture of the time, isn't it? Very much so. Yeah, probably like because he doesn't really. I mean, he satirized Northern life as a young person with the first album, and this is him satirizing celebrity culture at the time, of which he was a part of, because he dripped a little bit into that with Alexa Chung, because they became a celebrity hot couple of the time, didn't they? Heat magazine favorites. I remember they were getting talked about. I always remember coming in, my mum was watching Loose Women, and it was a picture of Alex and her on a piano, and they were all going, "Oh, don't they look great?" And I was like, Jesus, he's become a proper celebrity. He's on Loose Women, like that mad.
Yeah.
That was the kind of shit at the time. Heat magazine weddings and all that crap.
Worth pointing out, they were never in OK or Hello Magazine. OK on Hello Magazine, you actually do an interview and a photo shoot, but Heat is just pictures from long distance in the street.
Oh yeah, they weren't chosen to be in there. No, it wasn't like they did a
they weren't like, yeah, we'll do an interview. We'll show you our new fitted kitchen.
Yeah. I think even Alexa Chung was above that. You know, she was a T4, all that kind of stuff. She was a cool customer.
I do like Alexa. Yeah.
I do like Alexa a lot. Yeah, but meant to be. Was it meant to be? And we won't get into the conspiracy theories of what happened there because we're not that podcast. But it's the next line is, and it's the 1000th time, then it's even bolder. Is that about being told like that this is bolder than you've seen? So like how people used to be like, oh, the next thing we're going to do is even bolder. You know,
yeah,
the next
they'll also just push it more and more as well.
Push it, yeah, and that like the next big thing, it's bolder, and that it's going to be bigger, and then don't be surprised when you get bent over. Little arse fucking joke there, a little bit of
the best kind.
And they told you, but you were dying for it. So like you're too desperate to see it. They told you you're going to get fucked by the industry, by this world, because you're so desperate that you want, but you ignored it because you wanted it so badly, and you're going to get fucked, and you did get fucked, and we told you that would happen, which did happen to pretty much every celebrity. Because the problem is, if you become famous without any kind of skill or talent, you ain't going to last very long, because people will just get bored of you. Because what are you? That's why these reality stars come and go very quickly, because you're not providing the world with anything. Any talent.
That's why
it's grim, isn't it?
That's why because I hate all these people that they push in front of us. I hate 99% of them. But weirdly, Rylan Clark, I have no problem with.
No, but everywhere. Can I give you a difference? Can I give you a difference in that? Because he was what X Factor didn't win, transition to presenting, right? People don't appreciate this, but being able to present is a skill. It's a valid career path. I don't mean anyone like that, because it is a difficult thing to do, live TV and stuff like that. I wouldn't. Yeah, like all the different shit you got to know. I mean, maybe with a bit of training, but like there's a skill in, and you have to be likable enough to transition and have been that personality well. What I mean is like just the people who do reality, and then just they'd guest a host on panel shows and for like 10 minutes, and they'd go on like Big Brother, Little Brother. But that came out of my head then, out of nowhere.
But then they'd like the kind of the level of show, so they'd be on like Big Brother, then it'd be Big Brother's Little Brother, the companion show, and then it'd go down until you see him on like Celebrity Coach Trip like 10 years later, and just think, you're just holding on to this relevance.
And when you actually think back now, when we talk about it's quite comparable actually. We talk about the indie bands that weren't good enough, and now there's only a few of those left, like Arctic Monkeys, etc., that are still around because they had the ability to progress. When you think to this time, early 2000s, all those that weird celebrity culture, when you try and think about who's left from that actually has a viable career, there's very few. You got people like Darren Brown was kind of part of that, for example, like weird time, but he actually has a skill and a talent, so an entertainment purpose. So yeah, it's more the people who were just like on Big Brother and then would be on panel shows and then be in Heat magazine, and then they get pregnant, they sell the wedding, and then they just slowly fade out and vanish. And
there was nothing worse than seeing 8 out of 10 Cats back when it was half decent, and you'd have comedians on there, but on one of the teams you'd have a reality person, and it was the worst thing ever. I remember Sean Locke telling a joke about. I mean, obviously Sean Locke, one of the best surrealist comedians this country's ever produced.
Rest in peace.
Yes, indeed. And he had a joke about his dad playing a game called Spine in a Bag. It's like where
Yep.
he'd kill an animal and put the bones in. You got to guess what. You go over the head with it, and you got to guess. And Jamelia was sat next to him, and Jamelia's like, "Did you really play that?" No, it wasn't Jamelia. It was Louise Redknapp. Sorry. And she's like, "Did you really play that?" He's like, "No, it was just a joke." it was just. Look at really wow! Every week you'd see these and even recently you see the Essex people on there and stuff like that.
Yeah, but this is what I mean. At least Louise Redknapp had the ability to sing, whether it was just churned out shit. But the Essex people, they got nothing. They're just. It's not. I'm sorry. It's
just
not
happened to be there when they were filming a show.
They're attractive people that live in a rich area where they want to make a fake reality show. That's it. There's nothing. You're not bringing anything to the table post that. That's not like saying Ryland's a good presenter because they're not doing anything. They're just being themselves. They're just re-recording moments in their lives for slightly more dramatized. That's not like we could all do that. It's like even being on Gogglebox is a skill because you got to have comic timing and be funny. If you're not, they'll get rid of you. There's families that come and go on that all the time because people don't take to them. Like
I'd bloody love to be on that, man.
I think so. I would love for one of our listeners. This is a pledge to them because you have to be recommended to the producers by other people. I think if anyone listening has an in, recommend us. Come on, we'd be
good. But the thing is, they don't take applications, do they? They go out and do research.
That's what I'm saying. If anyone listening has an in with the producers, tell them. Well, yeah, you never know. Well, that's why we need a more mainstream podcasting. Not that we're going to give up this one anytime soon. We mean alongside.
No, this is
never give up.
We're committed to the bitter end. I've got this tattooed on my ball sack. The name.
I imagine much like the Last Shadow Puppets. Even when we've caught up with Arctic Monkeys, which will probably, I imagine there'll be an 8th album before we're done. But when we've caught up with them, we'll still ride again with the album after that and cover that. Like we'll always be back for more until either the band stop or we die, or both. And to bring it back up, so the next line is saw it and she grabbed it and it wasn't what it seemed. The kids all dream of making it, whatever that means. Oh, little cheeky Helder's performance here, by the way. It's a step up from the previous Helder's vocals, I'd say, because his last big moment was "You Probably Couldn't See for the Lights" with the danger facing. Or actually, I suppose it would be "It's not you, it's them."
Yeah,
wrong.
Who the fuck I
tell them to. Yeah, although I suppose in terms of actual singing, kind of like almost brick by brick-esque with the amount he sings in the next one. Well, not quite, but yeah, this is a step up, I'd say, from his singing here because he's a proper singing and he's like the kids will dream of making it, whatever that means. Great moment, great way to do that. To go, this would really enhance that is a good thought to have, isn't it? Like I don't, to go, maybe Alex sound better if Matt just does that change up. Like interesting. Yeah, obviously that line is like the kids dream of making it, whatever that means. Is it's still that is one of those things of making it and what does that mean, and when you get it, is it quite what you mean? You hear a lot of celebrities talking about that, don't you? That kind of poison chalice type, or like what? Like I remember I was at a party a couple of years ago, just like a barbecue at someone's house, and there was a young girl there, like I don't know, 10, 11, one of the kids of the family members. And she was saying about how she just when someone said, what do you want to do, when you're all that line that everyone hates to get. And she was like, I want to be a TikTok star. And I was thinking fair enough, but if that's kind of like, you haven't said what you're going to do, you just want to be a TikTok star. So do you know what I mean? There's not the level of disappointment that must come for people when they don't do it, because you need to do something. You can't, I want to be a TikTok star. Oh, right. What are you going to do? I'm going to dance along to famous dances. It's like, right. Well, everyone's doing that. It's about 10 of them.
When I was in college I did A-level media studies at college. It's got me far. And my teacher, Mark,
professor,
he used to say on
so did I, by the way.
I'm a music historian, right? As you said. He used to say on careers
holding on to that one,
on careers evening, he'd say to people he'd say to youngsters what do you want to do? And they'd say, I want to be famous. He'd say, well, for what? Do you want to record a seminal album? Do you want to cure cancer? Do you want to be a prolific dog rapist? They're all famous. It's like you need a bit more meat on the bones. There's got to be some sort of talent there. Some
definitely,
direction.
Definitely. And I do see you as a music historian. Yeah, actually, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If I have a music question, you're my go-to in my phone. So I mean, really, we should have a pub team, shouldn't we? With my TV and film knowledge, your
I think we'd do well on Pointless, but
we need
that,
so. I'm not. Whenever I said that, I just said I'd find it a bit dry sometimes. The thing is, I don't watch normal TV, so I find it hard to keep up with stuff like that. But when I lived at my mum, she'd always have the chase on, so I didn't. I used to love Pointless. Let's just go back to this. When I was 20, 21, I used to in my weed smoking full time days. I was a big Pointless fan. I think it's a show that is made for the weed smoker, much as much as
and the elderly.
And the elderly. Yeah, I do like it. I just think it's not worth it. Like, the money isn't worth it. Like, at least on the chase, if you do it, you get maybe the share of like 50 grand between the four or whatever.
Yeah, but you've got to be on a team with some wankers, haven't you, on the chase? Wankers true. That you don't know. If it was Pointless, I could just cling on to you and be like,
Pointless is very hard as well if you don't get a topic. If the right topics don't come up, it's very hard. You need the right topics to come up to be able to do that, because it's like the thing with Pointless, like with Family Fortunes, for example, a broad topic, you just have to know the broad topic. With Pointless, you have to know the topic, but know it so well that you would know what other people wouldn't know. And that's hard. So if it's something like Stranger Things, Leonardo DiCaprio films, Arctic Monkey songs, all these things are great. But if something like the battles of the 1800s or something, I'd be like,
well, last night, one of the second round last night was, well, firstly, there was a team of two young lads, and when Alexander asked him about himself, he said, "Oh, I'm whatever my name is. I'm a part-time landscaper and a full-time legend." Got knocked out first round, and then got knocked out first round tonight as well. But yeah, the second round last night, it was
sounds like
long,
an unbearable cunt, to be honest with you.
He scored 200 both nights in the first round, wankers. So last night the second round was long album titles. And as soon as it came up with long album titles, I was like, Arctic Monkeys. And then, it was whatever people say, and that's what I'm not.
Do you know what? 7. Do you know what? Now that you say it, I'm always looking for like something to throw on while I have my coffee and my lunch. I usually take a little cheeky half-an-hour lunch for work because I'm, hard worker. Only so I can finish 4 hours early. But maybe I'll start cracking last night's episode of Pointless on iPlayer the next day when I'm having my lunch.
Watch,
yeah, maybe. Okay, you've sold me. You've charmed me. So let's carry on with this then. So another variation on what we're here to do. Another variation on a theme. So like I assume this is like another similar thing coming out. Another reality show. It's just the same old crap being turned out. Now, what do you think? A tangle on the television and the magazine. Is that like a love tangle, a fight selling to magazines, like when people used to have arguments and it would be all out there or something? I don't know. Like.
Yeah, or even just being tangled in the whole mechanism of how it works.
Yeah,
Even just you've already said you're up for this. You've already bent over, so you're fair game now. That's it. You're tangled up in the web.
Yeah, that's probably because it's that's pretty probably spot on there actually. Yeah, tangled up in the web of celebrity culture in 2006-7. Awful.
What a place.
Now, this next bit is, I love this because it's peak snark here from Alex. Do you reckon that they do it for a joke? Do you reckon that they make them take an oath that says that we are defenders of any poser or professional pretender around? That's proper bitter snark, Alex, isn't it? Yeah, that's like vampires level snark that we're getting on this one. Yeah,
it really is, isn't it?
He's pissed. He's pissed off. And what do you think when he said? Is he talking about the agents there? Do you think like? Do you think the people? I assume he means the agents, the TV producers, the people in the magazines, the tabloid press. Did they do it for a joke? Do they? And he's kind of saying, I guess, did they do it for a joke? Or did they take it seriously? Or he's saying, he's kind of mocking, saying, "Oh yeah, did they really take these people seriously? Did they make them take an oath to say that they'll protect all the posers?" Yeah. So critiquing the people pulling the strings because they're the real problem. The Simon Cowells of the world, things like that, or the other producers as well. That's what always makes me laugh. I try and explain this. I had 2 things quickly. I had once. I generally always have an argument with people that like have a go at the people that are shit or on like X Factor and that. And I'm like, you do realize that the whole thing's set up for them to fail. Like the reason they get angry is because they go and see a producer first before they ever see the judges. The producer realizes they're awful, tells them that they're shit hot, so that when they go out there, they're all full of confidence, thinking I'm great. And then when the judges laugh at them and a whole room full of fucking audience people in the public laugh at them, they see their ass, because that's fucking horrible. To be told that you're good and then wheeled out and laughed at is pretty grim. Let's see how
And
you
these
react.
people are usually already mentally ill.
That's the problem
Let's
as
be
well.
honest.
Yeah, well, let's be honest.
It's people with learning difficulties who no one's ever told them no.
It's the modern equivalent of the Village Idiot in the stocks, isn't it? That's what it is. That's all it is.
We're very much going along with what Ricky Gervais says in Extras in the Christmas special.
Yes. You
wheel out the bewildered.
Do you know what? Extra Series 2 in particular is a great companion piece to the song. Yes. If anyone internationally wants to get a vibe of what things were like in the UK at the time to go along with this song and get a better understanding of the culture, then I would very much recommend Series 1 and 2 and the Christmas special of Extras, the Ricky Gervais, Stephen Merchant vehicle.
Nails it, yeah.
The Christmas special especially, yeah, but you probably need the build up to get the payoff. But if you want to indulge in that culture and see what it was like, fully recommend. That's a perfect actually sidebar. But yeah, and it's very similar. I had an argument with someone once in work. I had this trainer in who was a dick in this meeting, and it was like just after Jeremy Kyle had gone under because of that guy killing himself, and he was like, "Oh, you know what they're getting into when they go on it," and I was just like, "You're an idiot, mate." I just lost it with this guy. I got in trouble actually because I was like, "If you don't understand that these people are plied with booze, they're told all sorts of crap before they get on stage and riled up, it's just it's all fake." And then
it all builds up to the lie detector, which is famously not used by police because it's.
I always think that. Like, why do people believe it? The police can't even use it.
I'd be nervous, fucking hooked up to a machine.
yeah, and some poor bastard kills himself because you got it wrong. And didn't look after him afterwards. Horrible. But their song is all about that kind of stuff. It's all part of that same world. So yeah. Pete. So. When did your list replace the twist and turn like a fist replaced the kiss? What do you think he means it? Like, so is he? I don't know if he's talking about like the lists, the top 100 lists, referencing back in the song, or whether he's like the list of what the industry is supposed to be has replaced the twist and turn and the surprises that we used to get. Is that yeah? So
I probably both, but I'd say the second one is what jumps out the most.
Because it used to be the twists and the turns and are these people going to make it? Are these not? And then it was just very generic list. This is what we're going to do. We're going to keep playing out these reality shows. And he's obviously in a negative way because having a kiss replaced by a fist would be bad.
Which I wondered if this was like a little cheeky reference to "Kiss with a Fist" by Florence and the Machine, but that was recorded. That was recorded just 2 weeks before this was released. So
yeah.
No.
When I was doing my notes, I thought, well, have I heard Kiss and Fist before? And then I remembered that it was that. But yeah, it was definitely after because didn't we see her? Did we see her?
Enemy. Back when Florence was punk.
Yeah. Anyway, but
nothing more he's saying about that.
But yeah, and then obviously it's "Don't concern us with your bollocks." Sounds like something you'd say that, I thought, when I was doing my notes. "Don't concern us with your bollocks" sounds like something you'd say.
What the girls say to me.
Now we're at kind of an important part of the lyrics here because he says, "I don't want your prayer, save it for the morning after." So I'm just going to read something before we do anything else. This song contains the lyric alluding to a line in the chorus of "Save a Prayer" by Duran Duran. "I don't want your prayer, save it for the morning after." In addition, "I Bet You Look Good on the Dance Floor" includes the lyrics "Your name isn't Rio, but I don't care for sand," referring to a line in Rio. In this interview with XFM, Alex Turner said that he actually had little knowledge of Duran Duran music apart from a concert DVD he'd seen, and the references must have come from his subconsciousness. There you go. "Save a Prayer" is the sixth single by the English new wave band Duran Duran, released on the 9th of August 1982. The song was the third single taken from their second album, Rio. So both references come from the same album as well, which is interesting. So it must be from that concert. It became Duran Duran's biggest hit at the time on the UK singles chart, reaching number 2. Held out of the top spot by what song do you think it was held out of the top spot by in 1982?
82. Is it Bananarama or something?
No. It's a song from a film.
Take My Breath Away.
No, a sport-based film.
Ooh. can't think of a sport-based film now from the 80s. Mighty Ducks was later.
It was Survivor, Eye of the Tiger. Where's
Oh,
the
of course. Yeah.
Going up, back on the street. It was a very good tune. I love the 80s. The 80s is my favorite decade of music because there's just so much variety that I just love it. Nothing more I love than a dance to 80s music. I'd love to go to an 80s night, actually. It was not originally... We should do that. It was not originally issued as a single in the United States, although the music video was very popular on MTV. A special US single version was finally released in January 1985 and reached number 16 on the Billboard Hot 100. Should we ever listen to the original?
You don't have to dream at all, just live a day. Don't say a prayer for me now, save it till the morning after. Don't say a prayer for me now, save it till the morning after.
I wasn't born then, but I know Duran Duran was shit.
Oh, Duran Duran were great. What are you talking about?
They were great. Yeah, they were great. Yeah.
But what if you were around in the 80s, what fashion group do you think you would have fell into?
Goth.
Do you think so?
Yeah,
I thought you were going to say mod. I know mods weren't strictly the 80s, but they were still around, weren't they? Modern rock.
Well, Style Council was still keeping the mod thing going a bit.
I think because of that's what I'm most closely aligned to historically, but I actually think the truth is I would have been a New Romantic because I absolutely
Shit, I remember New Romantics.
Me and you, we would have had at 18, we would have had the big hair, we would have had all that shit, wouldn't we? Because I love that's my favorite
bullshit on it.
That's my favorite 80s music is the New Romantic stuff like that. I think it would have been like Ricky and the young Ricky Gervais. We would have been that would have been our band when it would have been doing the whole Bowie thing. Yeah, I could. Yeah. What I want you to do for me now is I want you to play the bonus round jingle, and I want you to play followed quickly by the Ghost Cookies round jingle.
Jesus Christ.
It's unorthodox, baby.
How quick do you think my fingers are? As I say to the lady.
That sound means it's the end of the round. Time for the bonus question.
You could say they're selling like ghost cookies.
Seamless.
Very good. So how many sales do you think that Save a Prayer by Duran Duran had in the UK in 1982? And I'll give you a clue. It went silver.
Yeah, there was nothing to do except for buy records and hate Thatcher. So I'm going 1.3 million.
No, 250,000. Which seems low, doesn't it, to go silver?
I'm giving up on guessing these because
it's hard,
no
isn't it?
consistency whatsoever.
No, I know. I thought you'd have to do a lot back then to get like to get in the charts like that. But it's the number 2.
A slow week.
Must have been. Well, if I Had the Tiger was number 1. I mean, God love it. I love it as a song, but number 1. I mean, this is a better song. But I mean, there are not many songs coming out in the 80s because the 80s is one of those like very much similar to the 90s. Although, but a lot more. The thing I like with the 90s had that spark of all that kind of similar music and the dance music, but then the 2000s had the indie feel. Whereas the 80s, there was just music coming from everywhere. It was all different types. It's very varied. I'd say it's the most varied musical, and I put that a lot down to the decades before and the different experimentation led to. And I've got a theory that pretty much every singer in the 80s was trying to sound like Bowie. If you listen to most, especially the New Romantics, they're all like, it sounds like someone trying to sound like Bowie. Even Duran Duran there, save it for the morning after.
You had like cheesy pop, you had like romantic pop, you had like U2 starting to go stadium, like back when they stopped being good. You had the goth thing going on. You had like kind of indie for outsiders, so like the Smiths and stuff. You had New Order, like bringing dance music over. Like you're right, as a decade, did that mix of stuff.
It's a great. It's probably one of the ones I'd like to go back to the most. But yeah, and if you like crack on an 80s playlist on Spotify or something, it's just constant gems.
And what's that's where you even get.
Oh God! I mean, we ain't got time for that. I mean, fucking hell, I'll be there all week. I mean,
I suppose for Vienna,
we can. I mean, I do love a bit of Tears for Fears, so there'd be a lot of Tears for Fears in there. But I mean, but then you got Bowie as well, because he's still rocking about with fucking banging
impossible
tunes.
to nail
It's
it down.
impossible to. You can't nail down
Every
the
other
thing.
era, I think I could try and pinpoint one, but
I'd have to do per genre or something, or per artist, because there's too many.
We'll say that can be a bonus podcast. Then we'll save that.
Yeah, save it for the morning after, right? So yeah, how do you think that relates to this song? I've always wondered. So, what in the song? What does that mean? Don't say a prayer for me now. Save it for the morning after. Is like, don't worry about me now. Worry about me tomorrow. Is that kind of the vibe of that?
I've been discarded.
Yeah. So in this song, he's referring to the people being discarded than the celebrity cultures. Don't say a prayer for them now. Say a prayer for them tomorrow when they've been binned off by this culture. Is that kind of what he means? You think? Yeah. No, that's quite good. That
Wanking
I
off
wasn't
blokes for
sure.
cash in Soho.
It's quite a poignant moment then, and you ruined it as ever. But so the next line is obviously, let's have a game on Teddy Picker. Not quick enough, can I have it quicker? Already thick and you're getting thicker. Desperation there. I both like and dislike the thicker line. There's part of me that like kind of likes it for his snarkiness, and there's part of me that thinks he's better than that. He's a little bit better than just like already thick and you're getting thicker. It always makes you think like that's what people think you are. Then the people that didn't like them and were like, oh, they're just common working. You know what I mean? That makes you sound like that, like because you've come up with so many clever, witty lines. To just say thicker makes you sound like you just having a go or whatever, like, whereas a lot of what you do is quite nuanced. So yeah, it upsets me a little bit, but I can get over it. And then, presuming that all things are equal, who'd want to be men of the people when there's people like you? I love this. Absolutely scathing at that point, isn't he? Like, if you talk about him building up to getting angry and angrier, like, he's scathing by the end there. Yeah. Which now he's right as well. Like, they're not equal. Do you think it's because like they're seen as like a men of the people band? People always used to say they're the voice of the people, and it's almost like he's saying, "Well, I wouldn't want to be men of the people if people like this make up the audience. If we're the voice of the current times, then fuck that." Because
I want to be the voice of these people.
Yeah, love that. I think we should discuss the video, and then a couple of bits, and I think. Should we play out because of time? Because this is running on a bit. Should we play out one of our playouts of the demo where we just play out the podcast, listening to the demo version? Should we?
We've also got a little clip of.
Oh yes, I'm going to save that.
Well,
I'm saving that. Yeah. Hey,
you gonna save it for the morning after, or
no? I'm going to save it for in a minute because there's part of something I want to say before it in the video. So should we have a little watch of the video first?
Absolutely. Let's have a look.
When did your list replace the twist and turn like a fist? Replace the kiss, don't concern us with your polish. I don't want your praise. Save it for the morning after. Thicker. Let's have a game on a teddy picker. Not quick enough, can I have it quicker? Only thick and he gets him thicker. Presuming that all things are equal, who'd want to be men of the people? When there's people like you.
I enjoyed a bit in the pub where they're paying for drinks with change. Quick note here: Nick Lager. Jamie bitter, Alex bitter, Helders
sometimes sadder, sometimes
different
sadder.
drinks, different needs,
different drinks for different band members. The video, not letting the production staff come to the pub. I noticed. No James Ford and that. No, you stay here. Get to work.
Yeah. You've got your pat lunch, haven't you?
The video was directed by Roman Coppola, which is a bloody big get because he's previously worked with The Strokes, Daft Punk, and Phoenix, and he's also, of course, the son of Francis Ford Coppola, director of The Godfather. And he also writes and second unit directs a lot of Wes Anderson films, such as The Darjeeling Limited and The French Dispatch, to name but a couple. The whole video was completed in one day and features the band performing the song live in, I think it's RAK Studios or RAK Studios, not sure how they say it, and then walking to a local pub. It won the best video at the 2008 NME Awards. The Guardian did a slightly funny article on this video, which is how to write a hit single by the Arctic Monkeys. Number 1, go to a studio. Number 2, have instruments. Number 3, like drums and that. Step 4, have a small crocodile heads handy. Step 5, sing something good. Step 6, have some bloke behind the mixing desk. It's all with little pictures from the video. Step 7, don't forget that little crocodile's head again. Step 8, positive thinking, which is Alex pointing at the baby I'm yours sign. Step 9, go for a walk. Step 10, go to the pub. That's it. You've got yourself a hit single. There you go. So this is my second favorite Arctic Monkeys video of all time. And was my favorite for a long time until another video usurped it. This is my second favorite. I love it. I love that the intro with them warming up still gives me the chills even now. I had watched it yesterday for the first time in years that I've watched it. Even when, like, sometimes when me and my girlfriend are drunk, we'll throw on YouTube music videos in the background because we want to get that vibe of being in our bedrooms when we're 15 again, trying to capture something that's gone. And whenever the Teddy Picker one comes on, and it's that start with a and then loading the stuff, it still gets me excited.
That sounded perfect then. I thought the video would come on then.
I've listened to it a lot.
And Nick does the little dum, 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 dum.
Yeah. Stand up to the point. I just think it's they all look like the coolest fucking people on the planet. I thought that at 18 years old, well, 17, and I still think it now. I just think it's great. It's my second. My favorite video is Are You Mine? But this is my second favorite, and Are You Mine is my favorite. Both Are You Mine videos simultaneously. I can't pick, but I think Are You Mine is my favorite video, the actual main video, and this is my second. Absolutely. If I was gonna crack on two, it would be these two.
I don't think I could shoot. It was this and Cornerstone for me for a very long time. So I just love the cheekiness and the low budgetness of Cornerstone. But then 4 out of 5 and Tranquility came about, and I thought, I don't know now.
Do you notice how Alex loves to get really close to mics? It's something I've been noticing recently. He did it when he was on Greg James's BBC show with Helders. And Zane Lowe's show. He really gets like right up to the mic here. And usually, I was always told don't do that when you're singing. Don't go right up to teeth the mic. But I noticed he goes
just
right
Alex and Liam Gallagher keeping it going.
People will have just found out that's not very nice. Being unless you're doing a sultry ASMR. Oh, I've just gone to the bathroom.
Unlike any ASMR I've ever heard.
No, that's just my private ASMR.
Do you not imagine you doing an ASMR like just been to the bathroom? Some discharge.
Anyway,
it reminds me of the people who host the radio station in Parks and Rec. It's a thingy, isn't it? Oh, what's his name? Now the guy plays Homer Simpson and stuff, and he's in Dan
Castellana.
Yeah. He does that in Parks and Rec. He's like, "You are listening to Thought for Your Thoughts."
You know what I love? So the crocodile, just something they had, little good luck charm that they had, because the amp is a crocodile skin amp, isn't it? I'm looking at it here in the picture.
Cool amp, that. As someone who hates all things like reptilian and
it can't be real because I don't want to believe it's real crocodile skin because that's abhorrent. But I'm going to say it's not.
Imitation.
As much as I don't like crocodiles,
like Gene Hunt's boots.
Imitation lover. So I've been listening to White Lies a lot today, and there's a lyric where he says, "My heart's like imitation lover." I mean, you know what my favorite bit of the video is? It's Alex's arm movement in the cut scenes in between, so that he goes like like that.
Down here.
People won't be able to see that obviously not on the video, but I mean, the walk to the pub, Alex's coat, Jamie's hair and jacket. It's no wonder he married a model, I thought, when I was rewatching it. Nick's peak mod indie look and Helder's just rocking a normal guy vibe. The perfect quartet. I just love that none of them, like, you see the Strokes and they all look exactly the same. I always loved that they all had a different... I mean, I know now... Even Helder's now is a style. He never dresses like the rest of them, does he? And the most they ever got the same was Suck It and See AM time, wasn't it? Where Helders was also rocking the denim and stuff. But
just when they have a meeting before like each era where they're saying, right, this is what we're wearing. It's like, Matt, you just go to the pub while we do this.
It's
Matt.
weird, isn't it? Because they always reflect the sound. There must be something, or maybe they just notice what Alex is wearing and follow suit. But I love the pretense of the normality, like, and I'm sure they did and still do frequent pubs. I've seen pictures of them in pubs in this country, like when they were recording Tranquility. They were, as I say, caught then, like it was legal, seen in a pub. But they're like, but it's like you're not just frequenting the pub, are you, with Roman Coppola stood there filming? Do you know what I mean? Like we change. They must have. So the end of this song, they must have changed it pretty quickly from the recorded version to the new live end with the pause. So because on the recorded song, it's people like you don't, whereas in this video and live, it's people like you. Yeah, which is great. So much. I actually much prefer that. I wonder how quickly they changed it and how annoyed they were that they didn't do that on the actual album version.
I'm also enjoying
here's a question. Is the single version? I forgot to check this. I wonder if the single version does that. I don't think it does it? We'd know that.
No, the single version is the same as the album version.
Yeah. So the recorded version for this video, why were they recording it then? Just for this video.
Yeah, I like it. It's like dance floor again.
Do you know what I mean? Though?
It's a live take rather than the single.
No, I know, I like that, but why didn't they use this live take as an actual single? If they were going to record it anyway.
Well, I'm assuming they'd recorded the single. I'm assuming they recorded the tracks for the
demos.
album.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah,
and then once they decide, it's
like,
going to be a single, it's like, right, we need to do a video, and that's when
they were like, can we repress all the CDs and vinyls?
Nah. Franz Ferdinand aren't bringing another album out for another couple of years. We need this
cash flow. So I do love the change, but they particularly mastered the art of this end when live they used to do it into Crying Lightning. And if we have a clip of that now.
Oh, that's great.
It's excellent, that, isn't it?
That's for Crying Lightning. You can wait for that.
I know, yeah. That's a love of. I love that transition. It's perfect.
Amazing, isn't it?
Should we do our favourite lyrics?
Too busy with the mind on clever lines.
Well, mine is presuming that all things are equal. Who'd want to be men of the people when there's people like you? Down. But if they just went back in for round two.
Perfect. And it's very good as a mission statement again. Similar to Don't Believe the Hype at the start of the dance floor video, mission statement. Who the fuck are Arctic Monkeys? Mission statement. This mission statement.
Another sign that they get it. They got it. You know, that kind of viewer saying they'd already done this with Who the Fuck Are Arctic Monkeys, but it's like, not quite. This is a perfection of that, like satire. And,
don't care if it's marketing suicide.
It is peak satire. It's just it's funny and it's a satire at the time and it's perfect. Yeah, it really captures that vibe. It's almost made me nostalgic for it, even though I hate most of it. It's just nostalgia. It just happens to time with when I was young and I had my whole life ahead of me.
That's the main thing, isn't it? Yeah. Don't think I'm not lying awake at night thinking about it.
Run out of codeine, have you? Should we do our favourite musical moment?
I'll never run out of codeine.
Bad sounds in your ear that make you get up and down.
New jingle again. Got to be the main riff for me. How can it not be that riff? That riff is the song. That is it. Although, shout out to the solo, I guess.
Yes, well, I was going to say the solo, just because of the reasons we mentioned before, where it's maybe whether you didn't expect a solo, or even if you did expect a solo, you probably wouldn't have expected it to be like that. It's a nice little
everything you've not come to expect.
Yeah, tiger eyelashes, summer wine.
But yeah, absolutely great tune, great video, Great live song. I'm glad it's back in the set as of this recording. It might be back out in the UK when we see them in 2 days. 2 days. But yeah, I love it. Great, absolute great tune.
If you keep saying 2 days, it's going to get it into my head that it is just 2 days away. And I'm going to be so disappointed on Saturday.
I know. It's not, unfortunately, but there will be a point when you are listening to this and it will be 2 days.
No, it'll fly by. Well, that just about wraps up our look at track 2 from Favourite Worst Nightmare, Teddy Picker. We'll be back next week with what, Dan?
Huh? Oh, sorry, Nick. I was miles away. I was just imagining a parallel universe where I was in the band and it was the perfect scene. But I certainly wouldn't be nearing the brink or seeking an escape, but I probably would still have been a dirty little Herbert, that's for sure. Nick, try and keep your trousers on, because next week is peak Helder's Own Mally combination hip-hop. Yes, D is for delightful, dazzling, danceable, debonair, diamond, divine, dope, dynamic, and of course, dangerous.
And don't believe the hype.
Don't believe the hype, yeah.
That starts with a D.
I'll pass that now. We're over that.
English
we
with
spent all last season saying that's the mantra for the band the whole way through. We're done with that now.
Well, should we change our name now? Not doing that. Right, that's just about it. We'll be back next week with Dears for Days. Don't forget, go on your podcast player of choice. You'll find the episode description and all our links are there. Follow us across all our channels. Like, rate, review, and subscribe. It's much appreciated. And have a look at our subscription stuff. You might be pleasantly surprised. But we're going to play you out with the demo.
The demo version of this, yeah.
This track, yeah. We have we're going to be doing this every week because there's a demo for every single track on this
we got
album.
them all.
So
we got them all.
We'll play you out with that. Say goodbye to the nice people, Dan.
Goodbye.
Bye. Don't Believe the Hype is hosted and produced weekly by Nick Lee and Dan Holt. The music used in the titles is royalty-free music courtesy of Les FM. Don't forget to subscribe on your podcast player of choice to be notified every Wednesday when a new episode is released. And if you want to help us out further, be sure to like and review to help make us more visible to like-minded souls. We will see you next week with more of the same.